How's it going? Good.
Just your thoughts on this Bengals offense, a lot of young, up-and-coming offensive players here. Does it start with Mixon or does it start with Burrow?
Yeah, I think it all. The Bengals are very talented, just as a group. Probably one of the most talented groups we'll see. Starting with the running back Mixon, and you go to the quarterback, young quarterback Burrow, who's smart, very talented, great arm strength. Right, he's very decisive and knows where to go with the ball. And then on the outside, all of the receivers that they have are, a lot of playmakers out there. The tight end position, probably some of the better tight ends in the blocking game that we've seen. So all around, those guys' skill position, they've done a really good job of acquiring talent there and adding true playmakers.
Elon knows Boyd pretty well from college, correct? And they played against each other a couple years ago.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
With Nick Bosa and Joe Burrow having a friendship and a relationship, have you seen any extra excitement from Nick this week and getting to go after that particular quarterback?
No, I haven't seen any extra excitement, with Nick knowing Joe, but he's been the same, just going through his normal routine, normal prep week for him, just preparing as best he can to go against this offensive line, who is really talented as well, that I didn't mention. So Nick is having a normal prep week.
There's never any time where he actually does waver, though, is there?
Right, there is. Nick is a very, very consistent player. I think that's what makes him, that's what makes him so good. It's about being consistent in this league, and that's one thing. Nick is very consistent with his routine, with his preparation throughout the week, practice habits. He's always doing the same things, which allows him to go out on Sunday and be a consistent playmaker on Sunday for us.
How did Aziz handle everything on Sunday stepping into the microphone?
Yeah, I thought Aziz did really well. He was calm. He communicated very well. He didn't try to do too much. He let the game come to him, made the plays that he was supposed to make, made a huge play there for us at the end, as everybody saw, with him getting the ball out. But Aziz, he's been having an outstanding year. This is a career year for him, and he's playing lights out every week, and there hasn't been any letdown from him. Love his energy, love his passion, love the way he plays the game, the physical mindset. He's everything you want in a linebacker.
Fred said yesterday that DJ Jones might have the most football strength of anyone on the team, different than weight room strength, which I guess he's okay in the weight room too.
Yeah.
But does he remind you of someone? I mean, obviously defensive linemen are strong almost by definition, but does he remind you of someone that you played with? Like when you see him, be able to shed blocks like he does?
I mean, I think DJ is in his own, in his own category. But I think a guy who I've seen with the strength and power that DJ has, similar guy, different body types, but Fletcher Cox is one guy I played with who's a very physical guy, being able to shed blocks and wreck things in the backfield. And that's what you see DJ doing as well. So the one guy I played with that I can compare him to from that nature as far as being violent, attacking, knocking guys back and making plays in the backfield would be Fletcher Cox.
He had back-to-back plays where he dropped Peterson for a 5-yard loss, and then he got out on the screen and caused the fumble. He seemed to be, that flashed his strength, and he moves pretty well too.
Oh, yeah, DJ moves very well. To be an interior D lineman, he moves very well, and he has the mindset, right, to get to the ball with urgency. He's coming out of the stack. He feels his screen, and he's running as fast as he can. But the guys on the outside did a really good job of setting the edge so DJ didn't have to run as far. So they made a guy go back inside, and DJ is just awareness, right, to attack the ball as he's coming out of the stack. It was a huge play in the game for us. And E-Man is able to recover that ball. I mean, that's what we talk about. That's what we harp on, guys swarming to the ball, attacking the ball. And that was all encompassing in that one play.
Joe Burrow has a lot of weapons, but he has thrown 14 interceptions. How can you guys kind of take advantage of some of his gambles?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be who we are. Our defense we pride ourselves on trying to get after the ball, trying to attack the ball as much as possible. He's a young quarterback, who can struggle at times, so we just have to play our game. That's the main thing. It's not about doing anything special. It's about us just being who we are. Our guys understand that, when they go line up, we're going to play hard. They're going to make plays, and we just have to go with our same mindset that we take every week, and our guys can do that. They can get after the ball. They can attack the ball and get some turnovers.
The last time we
saw Nick Bosa emotional was maybe the Super Bowl or maybe when he actually tore his ACL. Is that what you see from him? Like, he doesn't really get super emotional about anything in particular?
Right, yeah. Nick is not a guy who's going to get too high or get too low. Yeah, he's very even keeled guy, and again, I think that's him. And that's what I like about all our guys. Everybody can just be themselves. Everybody can be themselves, and all our guys just gel together and work really well together. But Nick is a even keeled guy who, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to respect you. You go out and play the way he plays. So for everybody, whether you're a hype guy like Aziz or Fred, or you cool, calm, and collected like Nick, that's the cool part about football. Is like different guys, all different backgrounds, different emotional, awareness or whatever it may be. Like those guys being able to come together as a team and go out there and play for each other. That's why you love the game of football so much.
You have a situation like you did Sunday when E-Man goes out and you go to Lenore, he gets a penalty, and then you go to Dante. How do you kind of go through the process of making a decision of like, okay, we want him to get the playing time, we want him to get the experience, but also this is an important game and we need to get the veteran in there. How do you kind of maybe find that balance?
Yeah, it's all about just all our guys just being accountable when you're in. For me, guys just have to be accountable. All those guys will be out there. All those guys be playing, gaining experience. But it's about also the importance of being accountable to your teammates.
What has you seen as his biggest improvement since he got here?
Who was that again? I'm sorry.
Talanoa Hufanga.
Oh yeah.
What's the biggest improvement he's made?
I think the biggest improvement has just been his communication as he continues to play and get more experience out there, just understanding how much more he has to communicate and not so much think about what he has to do. You can see him evolving and growing as a better communicator. That's one thing I've seen him get better. The confidence level has always been there with him, so he still has that, but now he's communicating even better.
Shanahan said on Monday he wanted to see Ambry and Diamador push Josh Norman and Dante Johnson in practice this week. How has that looked the last 2 days?
Yeah, all those guys are practicing really well. And I think all of them had a good practice. Our guys came out with intent. They've been deliberate in practice this week, so all those guys are doing really well this week of helping each other and pushing each other.
What do Ambry and Diamador need to do to push that envelope?
Yeah, just keep being consistent. Like I talked about earlier, those guys just have to be consistent and they have to be accountable, right? You have each one of us, we all have a job to do. The guys just have to be accountable, and their teammates have to be able to count on them to go out there and do their job and do it at a high level.
Nick's numbers from the rushing from the left, rushing from the right are really similar. Is that rare that a defensive end can be equally effective? And did you ever play with any that did as much, left side versus right side as Nick is doing?
Yeah, I mean, it is impressive to see that because you see some guys, they just get comfortable doing, one side, only rush from the right or only rush from the left. So it has been impressive to see Nick move around right or left, and it really doesn't matter where he is, right? He's effective no matter where he is on the field, wherever he lines up along the defensive line. And the one guy that I played with that was similar in that way was J.J. Watt. He was a guy who you can move around no matter whatever the matchup was that week. He can win against anybody. So you allowed him, to move around. Whoever you want to go against, you take him. So that's kind of the same approach we take with Nick. Whoever he wants to line up against, he has that freedom to do it because he's shown us he can win, against anyone.
Offensive tackles talk about how difficult it is to switch sides. Is it similar for edge rushers? Is it technically difficult to do?
Yeah, I think it is difficult when you talk about your stance and footwork, and just you have to rep it, and you have to just take your body through that process when you've been so much just accustomed to doing it one way. So there is, mechanically getting your body, your mind right to rush from the left side, just changing up the footwork, but it takes time, and Nick has worked really hard at it, and he practices it when nobody else is out there. He's working on his stance, working on his footwork, and he's done a heck of a job of it.
A couple of years ago, Dante Johnson, I think he bounced from like 3 different teams, not the Niners, the Bills, and it looked like the typical, he's at the end of his career and it's all over. And he's bounced around here, obviously. How is he, I don't mean this disrespectfully, how is he still in the league? Like, what does he do that makes him like, okay, no, we need him?
Yeah, one thing Dante does is Dante is a very accountable teammate, right? He's Dante is a guy you can depend on to handle his job the right way, to be a pro, on and off the field. That's what has made Dante stick around in NFL so long. He's a true vet, a true pro. A guy knows where to be, knows how to do his job, and he also has that ability where he's not selfish from that standpoint, where he's always teaching the younger guys as well. And so that's what keeps Dante around. Smart guy. Yeah, he can play multiple positions. Dante has played on the outside, has played the nickel position, has played safety for us. So when you get a guy who is as versatile and as smart as Dante, that you'll stick around in this league. When the more you can do, right, the more you can do, you'll stick around. So and that's where Dante has really earned himself the right to be in this league for as long as he has, just because of him being as versatile and as smart as he is.
His versatility, his leadership, how important is that for the younger guys, the Ambry Thomas of the world, the Lenores of the world? How important is that?
Yeah, it's huge, man. That's one thing about this league is when I came into the league as an older guy brought me in and taught me how to watch film, taught me how to study, taught me how to play the position the right way. And that's what, we're all standing on the backs of guys who come before us and paved the way. So the NFL, the locker room has just always been about unselfish guys. And that's why the league has just sustained itself, because everybody comes in, when you're getting up in age, that time is, is not going to be much longer. So how much can you impart into the next person so they can keep moving forward? What I learned from guys when I came in, I tried to, implore that to Jordan Hicks or Brian Cushion, like guys I played with, Michael Kendricks. Like it's on me. It's my duty to teach these guys just because somebody took the time to teach me. So that's where you see a guy like Dante Johnson. That's why he's able to do what he does. Yeah, it's just paying it forward, and that's how somebody probably taught him the same way. All right. Thank you, guys.
Except for Tracy. I'm not answering any of her questions today. Next. It's a little snug. Go Dogs. It was an honor to have a friendly wager with you, Tracy. It was actually a tough day for the tight ends. Georgia lost, Iowa lost, and the Niners lost. It's a tough weekend. It's a tough weekend for football. It's all right, though.
You have another weekend, how do you know?
I know, thankfully.
Do you feel like these last few weeks you've gotten a good flow with the offense, being out there, being healthy now?
Yeah. I mean, when you're I think our offense has definitely found more of a rhythm. Just being able to make plays. I think we did a really good job for 3 weeks, eliminating turnovers and stuff like that, and that's kind of what bit us in the butt this last weekend. But I thought we had 2 good days of practice. I'm really confident in our game plan going into Cincinnati, and I'm just excited to get back on the field with the guys because I think everybody is definitely disappointed in the loss, and everyone's. I'm not going to say that we're more inspired than usual, but guys are locked in and ready to roll.
Did you hurt your calf in week 1?
Kind of, yeah. It was attributed, started there, week 1, and just got progressively worse.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to get perspective on your season. When you played, 3 or 4 games after, and then went on IR, right?
Yeah. What was it? Detroit, Philly, Green Bay, Seattle.
Okay.
Yep.
How how was it playing with that injury? Like
Progressively worse every week.
Okay.
Just
You played with other stuff. How does that injury rank as far as other stuff you played with?
besides breaking my foot and not physically being able to play, it was the worst. Yeah, not very fun.
What made it? I mean, have some support,
It hurt to walk every single step. So then trying to run and block people and cut fast and run routes was not very fun. But took 3 weeks and definitely helped me out a ton and feel good again.
How often do you guys in a meeting or even when you're just watching film by yourself, do you see Trent Williams do something that makes you just say, wow, I can't believe he did it?
I mean, every time he's on the football field. Trent's one of one, regardless. I mean, on the football field, off the football field, everything he does, there's no one else that can do what he does and then play at the level that he does. He's an incredible, monster. That's kind of what I want to say. But, yeah, everything he does, I mean, from the backside and outside on all run plays, how he uses guys as leverage, and, like, every single player that he plays is like a chess match. Like, he sets them up for failure every single play, and it's just very intriguing to watch it. Like, if you start from the start of a game and then just progressively watch it throughout the game, if he's going against the same guy, he just does different stuff to him every single time to set him up for failure. It's pretty impressive.
When Kyle shows you guys clips of games or wins, whatever, when he does something in particular, what kind of reaction does that draw from the crowd?
Honestly, less than it probably should. I think we're all just kind of used to it at this point. But yeah, it's just you'll see Trent. I don't know, one that stood out to me. We were playing Jacksonville. It was it was our first drive after halftime, and he went up to a safety and let him undercut him, threw him back, and then he turned around and smoked him. And I was just like, wow, well, that'd be nice to be able to do that every single play, Trent. And then he just shoulders him, sees him go down, he just kind of walks to the huddle. I'm like, it's just so easy for you, dude. It's awesome.
Crazy how big he is and how fast and agile he is as well.
I literally think me and Trent have the same lower body, and then he just weighs 50 to 60 more pounds than I do. He moves I feel like we move very similarly, but he can just bench press a house. Everything he doesn't have to really do anything. He'll go into the weight room and he'll just put 400 plus pounds on the bench press bar and rep it for 5 reps, and then he'll just I'm good today. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I'm going to do my warm-up set of 185, 225. I'm just going to try to build up, and geez Louise. Yeah, no, but everything he does is just one of one. It's incredible.
I know the red zone play in Jacksonville didn't work out for him, but are you at least given that a little curious to see what it would look with him with the ball in the open field?
In the open field, I don't know. Trent, he really wants that ball, but running, I know he's going to get winded. I know that he will, but you give him that shot, he'll take it. I bet you he'd do a really good job. I bet you he's a yak monster, but he's definitely a red zone guy. I know that we're going to get him a touchdown at some point. So just, I'm looking forward to it. Even if it needs to be a tight end reverse pass or something like that, I'll throw it.
Your second touchdown, the tightrope act down the sideline. When you went back and looked at it on film and saw your footwork, did you get extra satisfaction on all that work you did in the off season with the balance beams and things like that? Did that come into play on that?
I think so. I spent 30 minutes plus to an hour on balance beams the entire off season, 5 days a week. Balance or just my foot, ankle, calf strength, just trying to work on that. And I think it really helped. I really do. It kind of it all slowed down a little bit, and I was I was running. I was I can stay in on this. And it was just fun. I was literally laughing to myself running on the sideline.
Juwan Jennings seems to become a little bit more part of the offense in the blocking game, in the pass game, et cetera, et cetera. But what have you seen from him that's helped him make these strides this season?
His mindset, 100%. I think some people compare him to KB, and there are similarities there. His love for the game, you can just kind of feel his energy out there. But, I think he's a hybrid of Jeff Wilson and KB. He's just right there in the middle, and, when he's on the football field, he flips a switch, and it's he's going to win or he's going to fight you trying. And I love that about him because he definitely brings this physicality that you can watch at any game that he's played in this year, that he just goes after DBs, linebackers. He does not care who you are, but he's going to go after you, and he's just going to piss you off until you kind of bring it back at him. And Juwan he's real. He doesn't fake it at all, and not everybody has that mindset on a football field. So when you have a guy like that that's just an aggressive bulldog, Some guys don't like it and they back down or they do stupid things, get stupid penalties. But Juwan's mindset has allowed him to make those plays. And when you can make blocks like that consistently, I mean, I think he had multiple really, really good blocks every single game he's played in. You can't take him off the field. When guys make plays like that, coaches can't take you off the field no matter what. And so he's getting those reps, and then the more reps you get, the better you get.
Surprising that he got in the little scuffle.
No, I love that. No, I absolutely love that. I was looking up, Jimmy stepped on my Achilles, and all of a sudden I'm like, ow, thanks, Jim. Way to be an athlete. And I look up, and Juwan's getting his helmet pulled off by a guy, and I was like, this is going to be interesting. And it was definitely interesting, and Juwan kept us cool and got a guy kicked out of the game and definitely made our game a lot easier.
Like he was abused by the whole thing.
100%, definitely. Like I said, he knows what he's doing out there. He doesn't, you kind of talk about, football players, you go to that dark space, you kind of black out a little bit, and you're just in the zone. He's got enough where you can just pull back, just enough where he doesn't have to do anything stupid, but he still is in that dark place.
You and DJ Jones are the last members of the 2007
Oh, yeah, baby.
draft class.
I know.
I just confirmed that.
Oh, we know.
Myself by asking, but when you think of him as a rookie, and I'm sure it's like most NFL players, but where has he improved the most? Because now it seems he's in the midst of what seems to be his best season.
I got a couple things for you. One, DJ Jones was the first Niner that I met. We were on the same flight coming to rookie minicamp, so that was fun. He sat 2 seats in front of me, so that was fun. I was like, damn, that's a big-ass dude. Excuse my language, sorry. But just, I've known him, he was the first guy I met besides, I knew Trent Taylor and CJ. But, he was the first guy I met, being able to talk to him then. And another cool thing is he got the strip this past week, and the next play was a touchdown, so I had to thank him for that one too. That class of 2017, just helping each other out. And where he's improved, DJ's always been a beast. He really has been. He's had some really unlucky injuries in training camp and stuff, completely out of his control, guys landing on him and stuff that definitely inhibit. But when he's out there, he is so strong. There's not a lot of people that I feel when they put their hands on me and I'm like, I'm screwed. He's one of those people that they put his hands on me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay on the edge instead. Mike, don't call wham anymore. But he's explosive. He's so fast, and he's just he's so strong. He's just a bull in there. But he's agile enough to make those quick plays and those quick decisions. But I think he's gotten better every year, but I still think he's been a hell of a football player since he's been here. Thanks, guys.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. We got some energy today? All right. That's not much energy.
Mike, Juwan Jennings has been a very big part of the offense in blocking, passing, et cetera, over the last several weeks. What have you seen from him that's helped him to make these strides this season?
Growth. He's grown as a player. That the thing about professional football is it is a legitimate transition from being a student athlete to being a pro. You have guys that you're playing with that have been doing it for a decade, where this is what you live and breathe, and there's an adjustment period. So, having the injury last year was tough on him, but what I think the whole team has seen is a guy that's developing his ability to be a professional football player and approach each week and each opponent in a way that the rest of his teammates can count on. There is a full-time job. These guys get one day off, and everything they do between or in front and behind that day off is either to do with their body or to get ready for an opponent. And he's done a great job taking advantage of an opportunity that he's received this year. Wow. I thought it was a solid response. Solid, at least. Not a walkout.
Mike, when you guys re-signed Trent in the offseason, Kyle said something to the effect of you guys had plans to use him in different ways. Obviously, maybe throwing him a pass here and there is part of that. But in terms of blocking, what is it about his skill set that maybe allows you to do that? And how does that kind of manifest when you put
Well, it's about as easy as it gets for a coach. I think if you polled the league's coaches and players, Trent is a very unique player at his position in that he's been probably the best athlete for about a decade at the position. He's one of the only guys that I've ever been around that could legitimately play defensive line at a high level as an O-lineman. Typically, they're just not that type of athlete. I think coming out, he run like a 4.7 or 4.8, and he was 325 or something crazy. But on top of that, what people don't realize is that Trent is very, very mindful about his craft. He is very crafty in the game, and it means a lot to him. He's very prideful, and all of that stuff makes it very easy to utilize him at the point of attack. And you start realizing, oh, we could down block here, pull here, which you've seen. The football enthusiast has seen his game grow within our offense a little bit because of that, because we're all growing together as coaches and players. So unparalleled talent in conjunction with a guy that it means a lot to, that is trying to be the best of the best each and every day. That's meant a lot for our team and allowed us to do a lot of cool things with him this season, and will hopefully continue to do.
I'm assuming you've never been able to say that about a tackle. Like we could game plan new things for him to do.
For sure.
What is that like for you then? Like how much fun is it to maybe think of things a whole different way based on what he can do?
Well, it's awesome for the whole staff. Like it just opens your mind. You just have different options. Oh, hey, there's this wide defensive technique. Well, if we or a tight one, if we need to cut a guy off, that's an extremely good player. Okay, let's run right. We have that option when we're playing really good players, which you see almost every week. It is really cool. You feel spoiled because there's been time between our stints, and we've had very, very good players. Been very fortunate to have very good players at that position, but there is only one Trent Williams. So you try not to take it for granted because your time with him is limited, and you want to take best advantage of it.
On George Kittle's second touchdown, the one down the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
I guess when you do the film review Monday where you go over some plays, obviously there was a lot of bad plays to go over, but that was a pretty exceptional one. Just kind of what was the reaction from that, or what was your reaction when you saw it on film?
Oh, it was an exciting moment. It was cool to see George feel, that he had that extra gear. I think you guys heard it during the week. He took Seahawks week very personal and wanted to do everything in his power to will us to victory. And so the wins and losses, they drive our livelihood for sure, but you also are very careful and not only celebrating good plays when you win. You have to have a standard with how you operate, and there's a lot of things that factor into a win and loss. So we use those clips, especially that was a great team clip. If you go rewatch it, Juwan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk both make fantastic plays, and Kittle takes advantage of it. That's the type of team ball that when we win games, we win because of stuff like that. So you don't lose sight of that at all. You always want to win, but the biggest thing is that you use every circumstance to try to make your team better, moving forward, because the fact of the matter is we're in December and we're playing meaningful football, and that's really what you work for from February on. We have everything that you want right in front of us, so you don't let lose sight of that. We're on to the next. We're playing the Cincinnati Bengals, and hopefully we have some more plays like that from George and from his teammates.
The Bengals, this might get too much into scheme, but how do they usually cover tight ends? And I'm asking that since they're going to be missing, they're down a few linebackers. I know linebackers or safeties, a lot of different people can cover George, but.
No, the Bengals are they do a really good job, and one of the things that they do a great job of is there's not one way that they try to defend things. They're game plan specific. We know that, and they have various types of zones and man coverages, and situationally we'll see both, and it's just all about the timing of plays called and what our players do within those plays. He'll have his opportunities to touch the ball in some way, shape, or form, and it's. I think he's excited for that. I think they are very mindful of the fact that he is an explosive player. So I'm sure they'll have things that we haven't seen, which is kind of par for the course, and especially with the Bengals, they give stuff to opposing offenses each and every week that's a little different, and they do a good job with it.
The Bengals have been much better against the run than the pass this year. You guys obviously like to use the run to open up the passing game. How does that maybe affect your guys' game plan at all?
They've done an outstanding job defending the run. I think they have put in multiple fronts and coverages, and their defense plays hard. So you try to go into the game giving your players the most information and the best information possible. You try to say, okay, this is what they do, and give them tools, and the game will play out as it will. If they want to overplay things and overplay the run game, you have to make them pay in the pass game, and vice versa. But the biggest thing is that you just get guys to be prepared to who they're playing against, so they're not caught off guard in the moment on Sunday, because that's a little too late. So they, in terms of preparation, we still have the same amount of runs and passes we typically have in a game plan. And I think our guys believe that they can run and pass the ball, and we'll try to do both at a high level on Sunday.
How big of a problem, I guess, literally, is DJ Reader?
He's a big problem.
Is he actually 347?
I mean, I would check the scales. No, it might be close to that. He's just doing a really good job. Whatever he is, he's a big man that's in shape. So he's not a big man that's overweight. He's playing at a high level, and he can run laterally and do a lot of things and make plays for them. He is an issue that you definitely. It doesn't take long for him to jump off tape and know that you have internal issues that come with that.
Tightrope touchdown. It seemed like Juwan was deeper than George. He was open too. What were you thinking as that, watching on high as that play is developing? Did you think that ball should have gone to Juwan, or obviously it worked out great, but I mean, what's the right read on that?
No, George was first in progression. They were kind of tight because the weak side defender kind of grabbed George and kind of in a football legal fashion kind of grabbed him, and so there was a moment in time where like, hey, this might be Juwan's ball, but George was number one in progression, and Jimmy layered it in nice, and the best part of it was both other eligibles that were running routes in that direction, Juwan and Ayuk, didn't hesitate at all. They transitioned and tried to block for their teammate, which they see. Coach Shanahan does a great job in team meetings and in offensive meetings, making sure that everyone never lose a sight of, okay, George is having success on this play, but look what it took by the whole unit for him to show off his athletic prowess. It wasn't done on his own, and we wouldn't have ever seen the tightrope if both of those eligibles hadn't immediately transitioned and tried to block for a touchdown that George had about this much room to get to, and he did it. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Belated.
Yeah, 39. I'm getting old. I'm trying to stay young with these young guys.
I was going to ask you about being 39 and doing kickoffs and things like that. I mean, how do you sort of, think about that? Is it something that you'd rather not be doing at age 39, or you like the challenge?
Oh, I love the challenge. I love the gamesmanship. I love the preparation that goes into it. There's things that I usually do, even though I'm not doing it full time, that I think helps me just stay, I'll call it fresh and in the know with what the returners are doing, how they return the ball, what the wind's going to do. I think there's some things that at 39 that obviously direction and moving the ball around is something I did in Chicago. So I'm very familiar with being able to get away with a little bit lower hang times and move the returner around. But I'm a competitor, and anything the coaches ask me to do, I'm willing to do, and all I want to do is win. And I stood up here, I think 2 months ago, talking about that, or a month ago, and I enjoyed doing it. I enjoy being back out there on the field, and if that's what it takes to win, and Coach Hightower needs me to do that, I'm more than happy to do it for the team.
2 months ago, Rob, you strained your groin in warm-ups. How concerning was that for you? And when you came back, you're making everything. So how did that help you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a unique year. Obviously, I got injured. I went to IR for 3 weeks. I spent a lot of time, working on the mental side of the game, and then obviously trying to get my physical groin, my body, and everything else that I needed to do to come back to be able to hit a really good ball. And I did that. Obviously, the last couple of weeks, I've missed a couple kicks I'd like to have back. But right now, I'm playing probably the best football I've ever played. I'm hitting the ball great. Obviously, I'm doing some stuff in kickoffs, which has been a lot of fun, which I think has helped me on field goals. But, as a competitor, you want to make the 42-yarder. And then the extra point this past weekend, obviously those are things that help your team. I think some positives from the season is we have 13 field goal attempts, and 10 of those are over 40 yards. So when your team's playing really well in the red zone, we like touchdowns as opposed to field goals. So that's kind of been different for me this year. But I think so far it's been pretty good. I just, got to put together that complete game and do that for the remainder of the season.
You saying that you're probably playing the best that's a big thing to say, considering how many points you scored in your career. So, I mean, how do you draw that conclusion?
I think just based on how I'm hitting the ball. Tabor and Mitch have done a great job. The guys are blocking really well. You see guys like Charlie Warner and Jake Brindell, Lakin, guys that are either playing or not playing on offense or defense, but coming in and have to play on that phase that are having unbelievable technique that allow me to have a little bit more, I'll call it leeway when it comes to get off time. Our get off times have been faster as of late. That's something I wanted to work on, and Coach Hightower asked me to work on. But I think Tabor's playing right now at a Pro Bowl level. He's been really consistent on field goals. He's been doing awesome for us in the punt game. It's been fun to listen to him talk about fashion. He loves fashion. I know you guys were talking about that a little bit earlier out there with him. But and then Mitch, Mitch is having a Pro Bowl season at punter. He's done a great job for us in that phase. I think he's probably top 5 in net. So I'm happy for those guys in the season that they're having, especially in some of the conditions they've had to play in Indianapolis here or in Chicago. We know we're in for a windy one in Cincinnati this weekend, and I'm sure they'll step to the plate and have a great game.
What's your sense of how the group, just at special teams meetings this week, has responded to last week?
Yeah, being the older statesman now, obviously in the room, it's been fun to watch the guys respond. I think we've had one of our best weeks of coaching. I think we've had one of our best weeks as players. Obviously we haven't played up to the standard that we want to the last 2 weeks, and it takes everybody. It's not on just one person. I'm sure, knowing Coach Hightower, what he told us in the meetings is he came up here and took the blame for probably all of it, which is respectable, but it doesn't all fall on his shoulders. Obviously he's not out there kicking extra points for me. So, those are things that I have to step up and do as part of my job to help him. But I think, the group's ready to respond. Their attention to detail this week has been awesome. Listen to them talk about their matchups, go through the game plan, knowing just the minor details of some of the things that we installed this week. I think Coach Harper and August and Hightower have a really good game plan going into this week. And, I'm excited to watch the guys respond, because I think this is a group that's well coached. Coach Simmons has been there for 19 years, so he's been in the same place. He's, obviously they have a great coach. They play really hard. They play through the whistle. They do a great job of playing with a really good low base, and that'll be a great matchup for us. But I think our speed and some of the things that we've put in this week will definitely help us play pretty well.
Get off. Is that all dependent on Tabor, and how is he in terms of velocity among long snappers you've worked with?
Yeah, my brother and I talk about this every week. I talk to my brother, who coaches for the Broncos. So, obviously he watches my film. I watch his games. We talk about, it's not necessarily about the velocity by which you throw the football at. I think there's a big misnomer that, the harder you throw it, the faster the time is. Well, the faster you throw it, the harder it is probably to catch it. So, Tabor's done a great job of being able to put laces predominantly at 12 o'clock, but more between 10 and 2. But I think he's done a great job with his locations. Mitch has done a great job of obviously grabbing the ball, putting it down on the spots, and getting the correct leans. But I think a lot of it is just making sure that the ball is catchable and giving the holder the least amount of movement as possible. And you can definitely see his growth, from last year to this year. He's definitely more comfortable. I was just talking to him this morning about, I watched all of last year's field goals, kickoffs, as part of some of my prep for this week, and I'm happy for him. The guy worked his butt off to get himself in better shape this offseason, came in ready to snap the football at a Pro Bowl level, and I think he's done that, and, I'm happy he's here.
Is the goal for Mitch to catch the ball same point each time so that it's automatic and not much movement?
Yeah, obviously there's almost like I'll call it like a beach ball that you want to try to put the ball in that allows everything to kind of be the same. There's sometimes that just isn't going to happen based on weather conditions. But, we have a standard in our room where we grade based on location, laces, and the ability to make sure that the whole group can operate. And that starts with him. And he's definitely made our jobs a lot easier. You can see a lot of that too filter into his punting, snapping. But it's awesome to watch the confidence that he has this year, not only in himself, but to be able to help the guys around him on punt team as well.
Good.
Thanks, guys. Good talking to you again.
Against Joe this week, is it add a little extra oomph for you?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and I definitely want to hit him a few times.
Is it usually defensive guys hang out together, offensive guys hang out together? He's an offensive guy that seemed to mostly hang out with defensive guys at Ohio State. Was that odd there, or was there a lot of kind of back and forth?
We're all teammates, so we kind of get along. I think just him he was a year older, and we were all in the same dorms, so I became me and my roommate became good friends with their group, like Joe, Sam, Hubbard, who's also on the team, a few other guys, Justin Hilliard, who was here. Like, that was all our group, and yeah, we just spent a lot of time together that second year and became friends, and then he left him and I got drafted. We both had success, and that kind of brings you together too as friends when you're both on the same path, similar path. So yeah.
I heard Joe was very good at video games. Was there one game that you guys played more than others?
We've been playing PUBG recently. A couple nights ago we played a little. It wasn't very good, but we got killed a lot. But yeah, it's like a battle royale game. And then we play Rocket League, which is another weird game that we liked. He's good at Rocket League. I played it all of college, and he hadn't played it really in college. And then he started playing it recently, and whatever he decides to do, he's usually pretty obsessed and good at it. So he's pretty darn good now.
This week online.
Yeah, a couple days ago we played a little bit.
Compared you to J.J. Watt and the fact that you can play on both sides of the line and you're still just as productive, is he somebody that you've watched in the past or you're going to look at?
Not really. Obviously, I've watched him. I just there's only one J.J. Watt, and you're not really going to go out there and do what he does. So I wouldn't really say that my game is much like his, but he's obviously one of the best ever. So
You could play on both sides similar to what he does.
yeah. He would always move around, go towards the matchup, and yeah, that's just smart football. Just putting J.J. Watt on the worst player.
Do you like the challenge of being on both sides, and how easy is it to adapt to playing and swapping sides?
When you practice enough, and like I was always on the right my rookie year, and it just kind of made whenever I would go on the left feel awkward, and it would kind of like deteriorate one side of your body because you're always taking on blocks here and using this leg to push off. So it's kind of like a weird thing over a long season. You kind of feel a little weird, but I much prefer playing both, practicing on both, trying to even everything out as much as I can. So I feel good wherever I'm at.
It takes some time to get even out and be able to play equally on both sides.
Yeah, this year even when D was in, he's usually on the left, and Eric was usually on the left when he was at end. So the first few games I was on the right, and then I forget which game D went down. I think Indy was the last one he played, and then we played the Bears after. So I felt pretty awkward that game on the left, honestly. I got 2 sacks, so that was good, but yeah, I wasn't as comfortable.
Playing and practicing both sides, is that your decision? Is that a coaching decision? Something you guys talk about?
Right now it's my decision. Yeah.
How much do you guys draw off of Kittle's energy? Now that he's come back these last few weeks producing well, and you guys have a good relationship.
Yeah, he's, like I said earlier, I think, to you guys, when he was out and Trent was out, there's kind of a lack of leadership, and Jimmy was out, there's a lack of leadership, and having George in there, even when things aren't going ideal, he's a great energy source, and we have plenty of that on the defense, I feel like, and then on the offense, he's one of those main guys to really bring the energy.
You, on his second touchdown up in Seattle, were you watching on the jumbo screen or were you watching it up on the sideline?
I actually didn't stand up once, except for the 4th down play, which wasn't good. But yeah, I was sitting on that warm bench with my knee warmers on.
One more right side, left side question. Is it easier to dislodge the ball coming from the right or from the left with a right-handed quarterback?
I'd say the left, even though people say like blind side, like when the ball is sitting right in front of you, it's pretty easy to. And I haven't even been reaching for it. I've just been hitting it with my head. But yeah, just when it's right there, you don't really even have to completely get off your block. You could kind of just reach over and knock it out sometimes.
Is that something you'd like to get more of? Not gonna draw the ball loose a little bit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, but like how hard is it to do that?
It's the best stat you could get, so it's the hardest one probably. Yeah, it's tough.
Nick, yesterday Fred said DJ Jones might have the best or the most football strength on the team. Is there an example that comes to mind of that manifesting itself on the field?
Seattle game. Yeah, he's very stout, and he's strong in the weight room too.
You and Trent too. Don't feel bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Congratulations.
I'll take it.
That the 49ers put together when you found out you were nominated again. Just what does it mean to be recognized for all the work that you're doing?
It's huge. It's brings up a lot of emotions, and definitely feels good to be recognized. For when you think about doing work in the community, you don't think about recognition and the rewards of it. But a moment like that, to be able to share that with my family and be honored for the work that I'm doing and my family is doing that I can't do without everyone else is, a huge honor and very humbling for me.
You said that you're an inspiration to the rest of the team with the work that you do. Is that something you relish? Do you like to talk to the guys and help them with projects they're working on?
That's great to hear. I try to lead, and do everything I can to use my platform, my resources to benefit others, and it's good to hear that my peers and my teammates are recognizing it, and that's inspiring them to do their own work too. So, which is great because we all have different things we offer to society, and my experiences and my viewpoint and how I want to give back is completely different from the next person's, and if we all collectively do that in our own way, we could, make society and better and make, our world a special place. So.
Eric, you obviously were surprised in the video. What were you told you were supposed to go out in the field for?
An interview, a sit-down interview with talking about, just talk about my nonprofit, just a sit-down interview, I think. Obviously didn't know that was going to happen, so I just thought I had an interview. I never really prepare for my interviews like that. I just kind of go wing it, so I was kind of walking out, going over what I was going to say in the interview or thinking about what they were going to ask me, so that's kind of what happened there.
Eric, you've always been an advocate for underserved children since you started your organization. Becoming a father made it even more important to you, more meaningful to you?
Yeah, 100%, because I have my own little one to think about, and it makes it closer to even closer to home for me when I see my daughter every day, and it gives me a different perspective, like I've been talking about, especially having a daughter and thinking about how I can help shape society and give her more opportunities and benefit her and more equity against men and women, and build a better future for her. So those are things I've been thinking about and I've been actively doing and working with some companies. I'm an advisor to a company called Syndio, and they create software to bring equity to pay equity, and they look at different demographics, and they work with companies, and they go on all the different variables of, are we paying people fairly, whether that's gender, race, age, where we come from. So when I'm working with them, I'm thinking about my daughter and her future, and do I want her to be paid fairly when it's her time to enter the workforce? So I've been doing more things like that, which has been really cool.
You've been in the league for a while now. Was there a player in the past who kind of showed you the importance of all this?
Yeah, I've definitely been inspired, by players. I've been inspired by other people. Two people that inspire me, like off the field, would be what LeBron does off the court, and also Nipsey Hussle was a big inspiration for me, and everything he did in his community, in Crenshaw, in terms of never leaving his community and giving back to his community in various ways, creating jobs, creating economic growth, educational growth in his hometown. So those are two figures I would say that kind of inspire me from a philanthropy and giving back to the community standpoint.
In terms of on the field, you've played in every single game since 2018. And
Don't jinx me, man.
I'm not. But after the 2 years before, how concerned were you about your durability, and how much pride do you take in your ability to be there game in, game out now, and to fill in where they most need you?
Yeah, I do take pride in that. I had some unfortunate injuries early in my career, and God willing, to be able to, play all these games in a row now has been amazing, and something that I obviously want to do, and it's been great. I'm trying to keep it going. I got labeled as injury prone, I guess, early in my career, and I've been out there, doing my job, and able to be reliable and be durable. So it's definitely not easy. I've had things that I've had to deal with, obviously, but trying to keep that going for sure and be on the field as much as I can.
The job's changed somewhat this year. So how has that adjusted for you, and what are you able to contribute on the inside?
It is adjustment for me. I forgot what week it was now, but they came to me obviously we lost Ken Law, and we lost Mo, and some other people on the inside, and they came to me to fill that role and fill that void that they felt I could help with it. So I feel I'm versatile. I can play any position. It is a bit of an adjustment because I haven't been practicing it, and I haven't been necessarily preparing for that. But jumping in there, I think I can play well, whatever position they put me at. So.
What's your comfort level now, having done it for a while and being able to practice and all that, and being able to stay in kind of one spot?
Getting more and more comfortable with it each week as it goes. I'm going to continue to get better and better and more comfortable with it. So I think it's been a few weeks now. So still a work in progress, obviously.
Are you aware or how cognizant are you of which side Nick is on? He gets to choose from play to play, but does that affect what you're doing at all?
Yeah, that's something me and Nick talk about is, before we go into the game, we like to talk about each other's kind of plan, so we know we can work together or, create space for each other. If he wants to work an inside move, obviously I'm going to, shade the other way or, move the other way, so to give him more space to work in there, or vice versa. He may burn the edge, so I have more space to work inside too. So it's definitely something we talk about and, work together on.
That's it? Thanks,
Cool.
Eric.
Appreciate you guys.